A little bit different today, but not really. Got a 2009 Trailblazer. Gosh, I don't know if it's LS. Not an SS though, definitely. This is my father's, and we're gonna put a new radio in this thing. Very clean, 67,000 miles. Done a little bit to it, which I'll get into, give you some of my Trailblazer tips and tricks. But yeah, it's a clean daily, that's for sure. So let's get into this radio and stereo install, and I'll kind of show you some things along the way. So as I said, we're dealing with a, this is a non-SS, and you would think it is though. My father we had a set of SS seats, just spares. We got them from like a junkyard type sale. They basically just took off the factory cloth skins, and these went on fairly well for what they are. And then, like you saw earlier, you got the SS wheels here. But this being non-SS, you know, low option-ish model, there's your standard gauge package. I'm starting to tear this all apart here, but that's the radio we're replacing. It is, I believe, a single CD, no cassette model, standard climate control. And then this is one thing I wish my SS had, the switch to turn on and off four-wheel drive. But we're going to take all this off. It comes off pretty much just the same way as the SS, and then we're going to pull that radio out and get this going here. So kind of a nice little upgrade. Should give us CarPlay, everything else. But it is funny though, having this, like, I mean, this is like a rubbery armrest here. Door panels aren't much different. I mean, they're pretty much the same, just no heated seats. But I mean, and no Bose speakers. But as you've seen, if you look back at some of my other videos, you know, the Bose speakers they're fine, they're better, but they're not that much better. So I'm gonna start tearing this all apart here. I feel like this is turning into Trailblazer garage. We just got so many of these things going on. So here we go. Unit I went with, based on no recommendations or anything. This is a Kenwood, and it does still have a CD slot. You can see me on there. It's pretty, I mean, it's a fine model. It's not like a, you know, completely overly expensive unit. It is XM, Sirius XM ready. It has CarPlay. It does have some outputs for sub if you want. I went through Crutchfield, which, you know, some people are surprised they still exist, but had to get the factory data interface to connect to all the stuff in here. And I believe this is one of those models where the door chimes would go through the factory radio speakers. So you get this little chime box here. Go and get your chime box. It's there. Radio cage to mount it. You got a microphone for your phone, got a little dash kit there, and some various wiring. I did get this thing too. This is a Panavice mount, and if you looked at my HHR video, running one of those in there, and that's nice to, you know, just magnet your phone to. So I'll show you that once it's in there. Got to do some wiring, got to do all the good stuff. I mean, this isn't going to be an exact how-to, but, you know, if you're watching, you want to check this out, see what's what, you can. And but yeah, started with disconnecting the negative battery cable and just going. So shouldn't be too bad, but I'll keep popping in here to show you the progress on that. But little radio upgrade on the Trailblazer. It's funny to me, these non-SSs. Now, if you're a regular Trailblazer guy, I'm not saying this in a negative way. It's just different to me. I've only dealt with these with the V8, and it's funny is this is an inline 6, and I mean, you got manifold down there. It doesn't save a ton of room. I mean, you know, from going from an LS to this, it's not. There's not like it's like, oh, it's spacious in here now or something. I mean, this right here maybe, but still not a ton. Some stuff is retained though, SS to standard. I mean, this whole side looks the same over there. And the whole coolant flow, overflow bottle, the washer fluid bottle. Cold air intake looks a little different. Does have a big goofy resonator on it though, that's interesting. Battery box is still a pain to get to. But even the fan looks very similar. Radiator looks the same. But yeah, there's your. This thing has about 67,000 miles, I believe I saw on it. We just did some other things. This is one of those ones that doesn't have the bar all the way across, like if you know what I'm talking about, like the SS and some of the other ones have, but we did put new headlight housings in, upgraded bulbs. This looks very SS, that cross hatchy plastic grill there, looks like the SS style almost in my HHR as well. But that grill doesn't overhang with the winglets or whatever they're called. And then we thought it was funny, the plastic that's over this whole, I don't want to call that crash bar, whatever you want to call that, the radiator support, you don't see it on the non-SSs. I'm not sure why. So, but it's a funny one. This being one of the last years, I believe this is a 09, if I'm not mistaken. Last year they made this thing. So here we go. Starting to tear things apart. I figured while I'm at it, I do have a spare Envoy bezel, and I'll stick that in there because it kind of looks a little nicer, but it should fit over the gauge layout of the Trailblazer. I did it on the SS, so we're gonna do it on this one, but a little bit of an upgrade for relatively cheap if you got it apart. So as you can see, the latest here, we're gonna keep the climate control installed, radio's out. When you take this this surround out, we'll call it, it is a lot. You got 2 plugs on the bottom for power outlets down there. You got 2 up top here, wiper and 4-wheel drive control. You got a number of screws and bolts, and then you got the headlight control here, and then as I just showed you, the gauges are hooked into there. So all that's out. Then we went to the radio, which has the 2 connectors there and the antenna plug there. Quite a bit going on. So yeah, but now we get to start getting everything ready for the install. Very exciting to see the inside of the dash though, if you've never seen that. Lots going on. Late 90s GM design, not too bad. They did have some things they thought of. There's felt on some parts, there's some rubber little, tips on some pieces just to sort of eliminate squeaks and rattles and that, but overall a pretty quiet SUV for the time. So we're in, look at that. Pretty simple setup overall. I'm opting to run this out of the glove box for now. If we ever get crazy, we could put a fancy USB outlet down here, or, something down here. I did run an auxiliary as well, just a headphone jack looking one. And then I ran the microphone up here. And we're looking to get it all back together. But CarPlay works, you can see. The speakers all work, everything works. This is that Panavice mount. I'm going to see how that works. This is my first time putting in this car. And it looks a little tricky because you have to almost like put the dash behind it. So I'm going to see how that goes. If I have to bolt it on after it's in there or what, but we'll see. I'm going to show you a trick though on this dash surround I learned with these cars. So as I said earlier, you can see some niceties GM did. They were thinking a little bit. There's some felt here to quiet things down, less rattles. And they have these little rubber, move this out of the way, these little rubber tips that go onto these little things here. And I think they're there to keep things quiet, but if you put them on there, they tend to fall off, which I lose 1 or 2 every time I take it off. So what I do is, which I've already done, you can see it's kind of shiny, I put a little dot of super glue, or this is just a Gorilla Glue. They just pull off, and then you glue them on so they don't fall off of there. I mean, this could be overkill, who knows, but I don't want any extra squeaks and rattles. And these are on there, and they kind of dry, and there's supposed to be, looks like 5 of them. So there you go. And that's on there, and you can see the back side of this, the 2 power outlets, 4-wheel drive, and wiper on the rear wiper there, and then our headlight switches are there, the back side of there. So, and one more thing I completely glossed over, totally forgot to show you. I did a whole video about this. I'll link it below. I ended up putting the Envoy gauge bezel in there. So if you saw the one beforehand in the car, it's just kind of black and simple. It's fine, it's not bad, but this is the the updated one from the Envoy here. And what this does is it just adds a silver trim to all the gauges there, which is kind of funny. But it's a cheap little upgrade. The only trick, though, to get that done, you have to find an Envoy bezel. It's in good shape. And to do that, you have to go to the salvage yard. You have to pull one off. Hopefully it's not too scratched up. You know how that goes. I actually went through 3 of these before I finally got a nice one sent to me. They kept breaking in the mail, and they're just plastic. So, but it's it's not just the trim. It's the plastic that goes around the gauges, the trim, the silver trim that's around the gauges, and then the clear plexiglass there on the front. So that's in there now too to fancy it up. So that's going to be our setup in here. And yeah, so let me show you what finished product looks like here in a minute. And that's it. We're officially done. And let me walk you through this, what we did here just again. There's the Envoy bezel. Look at that. It's just cleaner. It just adds a little flair to it almost, but pretty slick. And then obviously over here we do have the new Kenwood. It's a decent unit. I mean, it's tough to find one. My one negative with any of these things, I really like having a volume knob. It's just a nicer feature, but you really can't find them with that. It's, you know, it's just not a thing almost. You know, it's got CarPlay. It's got all the goodies on here with that. I mean, it's legit. It's got it all. I did opt to run the cord, like I think I said this earlier, out of the glove box for now. I mean, if you're crazy, you can add a little USB port to the dash somewhere, and you can do a number of different things. But for now, I just ran it out of here. Got my iPhone 15 hooked into it there. And yeah, this is that mount I was showing you. So what that is a Panavice metal mount. It fits a number of cars, a lot of different cars. And I'll put a part number below if you're interested in that. And then all this is a little magnetic circle right here. And then, I mean, if you're really wanting to, and I mean, you have CarPlay, so you don't need this, but just to keep your phone sort of out of the way, it's a nice little mount there. And I mean, if you do anything with it, you could still kind of operate your phone somewhat hands-free while you drive, but it's just MagSafe, and it just sits there. That doesn't charge or anything. It would be slick if you could put your phone there to a MagSafe, you know, cord, and then it would turn into a what's it called, a charging and a link up there, but it doesn't. It just right there like that. So that is that, though. So thanks for watching this, and you know, we'll probably put some more stuff on this Trailblazer on the channel, but the fake SS, we'll call it, is done with me for now. So and we'll see you next time. Subscribe for more on Trailblazers, anything from the garage here, and we'll see you next time.